Alberta hockey world right now, which would be, if you were Daryl Sutter, do you or do you not switch your goalies for game 5 tonight? And if you do, or if you don't, why or why not?
I can speak to that, Tim. I thought of it sooner than later, but from a coaching point of view, it's too late to do that. There's a psychological commitment to that one goalie, and it occurred all year. The backup goalie played when they had back-to-backs, and that was sort of it. And he created a number one and a number two goalie situation and a mentality. Obviously, through this series, that philosophy of the confidence that the Markstrom had playing as well as he did all year, he won them many games. He's capable of taking it back. And Markstrom's got a contract that goes beyond this year. So those factors enter into it. I'm not Daryl Sutter, but I might have, after the first game, or the second game, there was opportunities to realize the poor guy is out of his zone. He's playing like a duck out of water and playing dodgeball. He's had great moments, but bad goals in literally every game. And who knows what his state of mind is. So, that's another talk with goalie coaches, with head coaches about when do you pull, when do you yank, how do you use them all year? Are they familiar with, hey, if you win, you're in. If you lose, you're out. If you got that, if you created that. So I'm saying it's too late now to put Vladar in and think he might pull it out. And he might pull it out, but they've got a lot more at stake. I don't think Daryl's going away. He's going to be there next year. And that's my opinion anyway. I don't know what anybody else thinks, but I'm curious about Tom and Ken and their thoughts on that situation.
I'll let Tom go first.
Well, watching that last game, I thought Markstrom played really well in the third period. And I think they got to go with him for the same reason that you said, is, they've got to go with everybody and go back to the way they played, and then they can be successful. Like the last game, they only gave up 27 shots. The 2 games before that, they gave up 40. And I don't remember them giving up 40 shots all year. So I think they just got to go back to everybody playing like they did and, hope they get the breaks. Ken,
well, I don't know. I'm 50-50. You guys make a lot of good sense, but maybe it's time to shake it up. I mean, they're down to do or die now. So I guess you play Markstrom, you lose, and then you'll be saying, well, geez, maybe I should have played our other guy. I don't know. I think I'm leaning towards the opposite of what Tom and Wally said, just to turn the tide maybe. That's just my thoughts, but I'm not coaching the Flames. I don't want to be right now. Tough decision either way, but I don't know. I just feel like you got to maybe take a gamble. You're down 2 games now, 3 games to 1. Yeah, maybe the team will play harder defensively in front of this guy. I agree with Tom Malloy though. Markstrom had a better part of the last part of that last game, but the team just let him hung out to dry. And I just think the Oilers though have just they've got some real mojo going on. They got some real team mojo going on. They're a tight, motivated group right now, and I think they're gonna surprise even further if they get past the Flames.
Ken, I agree with you. And I'm thinking of your years at SAIT and goaltending. And if you had a 1-2 or a 1A and 1B, and either one could play in the big game.
Yep. And you know what? Many times we were fortunate enough that we alternated guys almost all the way through the season and the playoffs. And, whoever had maybe the hottest hand would get the most of the playoffs. But I don't know. I just think, most goalies have two different looks. They might be a similar style, but they have a different look about them, whether it's their size, their catching hand, their movement, whatever. And sometimes it's enough to, throw some teams off. I don't know. I was always prepared to play either one if they could play. Some years we just had one guy and you had to rely on him, but I don't know. I know the Flames, I thought it was one of the announcers, or maybe it was a coach of the Oilers. Didn't he make the statement in an interview? He said, like Mike Smith is relatively fresh. He's only played 38 games. Whereas this other guy, and he said, he didn't say that Markstrom, but he said, their goalies had 64 regular season games and then another 10 playoffs games. He's up to 74 games. Maybe that's part of it because, Sutter, he rides his guy all the way, all season.
Well, I'm going to
Greg, Jordan, anybody else? Al's joined us too.
Well, I was surprised that in earlier games, because he'd done that before of putting in the backup in later in a game where Markstrom, after a period where Markstrom hadn't played well. I was surprised that he didn't use him, Vladar, before in that role. The question I'll leave you with, and I have to go because I have an interview, a teacher that I have to interview for here coming up in about 5 minutes, is more on the Oilers side. They're having success with a guy that, it's been documented that has very low character traits in Evander Kane. Do you keep him in future years? Are you okay with it at a pro level, managing that and that sort of thing? And I'll have to watch those responses in video after. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Tim, I'm curious about what you would do with the goaltending tonight.
Well, I'll just maybe give Greg and Al a chance to weigh in. And I don't have any definitive answers, but just curious on everybody's opinion because it's a tough question.
Greg?
I don't have a great opinion because I don't know the whole situation very well. So I feel like I can just give maybe something more general. Like if there's a goalie that gives the team confidence, you ride them. If there's another goalie that can still give confidence, you can always switch to them. But I've been on teams and coach teams where backup goes in and you can just see the bench sink, and that's definitely a problem.
I don't know. I just started thinking about it the other day because there's so many considerations. Everything you said, Wally, is obviously quite valid. And Tom, I'm, a little bit more in Ken's boat, although I will freely admit I don't know if I were coaching the team, if I would have the guts to make the change. But it's warranted on several levels. Number one, Markstrom has a terrible track record against Edmonton, not just in this series, obviously, but over time. They have confidence against him. They feel they have his number. And for that reason alone, it might be time to say, hey, plant a seed in the Oilers' mind, a seed of doubt, like if they made the change and Vladar had a good first period, maybe the Oilers start doubting themselves a little bit, and we all know how powerful that can be. And to Ken's point about the mojo going on, that could disrupt that mojo. There's a case on the other side that we're pretty familiar with here in Calgary, going back to the early 90s when the masterful Dave King, and he is a master coach and a wonderful guy, went the way of sticking with his number one, and it arguably cost him his job. When he stuck with Trevor Kidd, they lost the series, and he was questioned by all the armchair quarterbacks. And as Ken pointed out, it's going to happen one way or the other. If he sticks with Markstrom and they lose, it's going to happen. If he goes with Vladar and they lose, it's going to happen. It's a tough coaching question. And of course, we all, our number one job is, as Wally is always quick to point out, and I totally agree with, transmitting belief in your players and in your team is our number one job as a coach. So Tom's observation about, hey, we just got to be who we are and get back to the drawing board. There's lots of validity in that too, in that approach. But it's a tough question. But I might be leaning the other way in this instance because of the effect on the psychology of the Oilers that it could have. Because they definitely need something dramatic now, for sure. And, Markstrom, the other thing is, Markstrom has had a career year, obviously. He's a tremendous goalie, obviously. But like all goalies, he is subject to stretches of, downtime. And he unfortunately is in one right now. And it's not totally been his fault. I won't place all the blame on him. It's certainly not the case. Like Tom said, they gave up far too many scoring opportunities and whatever through the series. But could be time for a change. It's worked in other cases. Whether you have a 1 and a 2 or a 1A and a 1B, there's lots of psychology involved in the game, and this could be the moment. But it'll be interesting to see. I don't know if he's announced one way or the other, but I have total belief that, of course, the Flames could turn it around and win one game tonight, and then it's game on again. So that's all they have to focus on. We all know that. And what a freaking fabulous game last night, St. Louis and Colorado. Like, holy smokes. You talk about grit, determination, and no quit. Like, wow. Especially when really St. Louis had every right to pack it in when Binnington went down in game 2 or 3 or whatever it was. I mean, their rock goes down, but they have not quit. Like, what a testament to grit and determination and playing like champions. I think you're muted, Wally, if you're wanting to join in.
Yeah, I've just changed my mind because of what you said and what Ken said. And Ken, I think you're a gut coach, and you do what you feel is necessary to win. It's not about the players first; it's about the winning now. And I think the idea of changing the mojo of Vladar's success is critical. This is the last chance. And if it works, then they got another problem. But then if it works, it's the same thing, the same potential to come back like St. Louis is. And now it's a series again. It's a real game. It's real competition. Right now, I don't like watching and feeling sorry for a team. And I do now, watching Calgary, because Edmonton is definitely on a roll, confident, excelling in every area. So had you not brought up that point related to the mojo statement and the need for something drastic to happen, I would do that. So we'll see what happens. Now, Al Ramsey, I don't know if, and even Craig, I don't know that they follow the Flames like we do here, but Al, are you on?
Yeah, Al's on. Yeah, you're muted, Al. Or maybe he's stepped away for a second. I just to interject there really quickly, Wally, that Vladar has he's shown over the course of the year that he can go in and provide them with a you know, with an outstanding game. So it, you know, from that perspective as well, I think the team knows and everybody knows he's capable. But it's definitely definitely a difficult decision.
100%.